Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the final international fixture that we are covering on the channel. This will be the sixth game that we have provided the commentary for, and it is a massive one. Argentina versus Scotland. This series 2 is sitting 1-1, so whoever wins this game does take out this series in Argentina. But I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you're still wide awake. Currently we are 7:05 a.m. here in New Zealand. That wasn't quite a word, was it? We've been up for about 20 hours doing our commentaries, and this is going to be the final match. But looking through, first of all, at Argentina, the home side, Gallo, Augustin Crevi gets the start in the front row, and then Scalavi there at number 3. Guido Petti and Thomas Lavanini are the locks. Pablo Matera returns into the starting lineup for Argentina. Grondona at number 7, and then it will be Fukando Iza at number 8. And I do see that they have just gone with some massive Argentine fireworks. They are pretty much a sea of blue at the moment at the ground. And then at halfback, it is going to be Bazan Velez, a big opportunity for him on debut. Santiago Carreras at number 10, Matias Maroni, and also the man who is bringing up his 50th cap in this contest, Matias Orlando at number 13, Emiliano Boffelli, Batista Delgui, and Juan Cruz Malia starting in at fullback. Then for Scotland, a few changes from last week's lineup. Rory Sutherland, Ashman, and Fagerson will be the front row. Scott Cummins and Johnny Gray as the two locks. Then Rory Darge, Hamish Watson, I should say, and Matt Fagerson locking in as the loose forward trio. Ali Price and Blair Kinghorn once again going to be the combination that they go with in the halves. Then also Sione Tuipulotu, Matt Bennett. I think it's Matt Bennett going to be there at number 13. Rufus McLean gets back into the starting lineup. Duan van der Merwe at number 11. And then the youngster Smith going to be slotting in at number 15. These are the benches for this contest as well, I should mention. And also we've got the getting up early team. So here's Maddie in there. Yeah, it is certainly an early morning here in New Zealand. I'm looking forward to seeing Marcos Crema coming off the bench, missing Nico Sanchez and Julio Montoya. Not good for the Pumas. And there's Sebastian. Exactly right. It's going to be a couple big players that they would have loved to be able to have for this contest. Definitely Julio Montoya would have been a key for them. But the Flower O Scotland is currently being sung, the national anthem, and also Gonzalo Bertrano late in the game might be quite a handy key for Argentina. Pierce Gorman coming off the bench, though, alongside, I would say probably Sam Johnson's going to be the other guy that will have the most impact off the bench for the Scottish in this one. But do give me your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. Who do you think will be able to win this matchup? Like I mentioned, the last international game that we are covering on the channel for the day. I believe currently, as we speak, there is a game taking place between USA and Chile. That is the other Rugby World Cup qualifying game. We will keep you updated with the score throughout that fixture while this one is also going on. But the Argentine national anthem about to be sung, and then we will be underway for this match. Currently in the first half between USA and Chile, it is 0-0. So USA still having that 1 point advantage from the first time that the two sides ended up playing. I should also mention Uruguay versus Romania will be taking place in just under 24 hours' time. Sadly, they aren't actually showing that here in New Zealand. If they were, sure, we have someone who would be very keen for it. And Scotland by 10-1 with the first try as well. Says Sebastian, so you've already got my next question now there. I feel like because you've been here throughout the whole day, you're just like, right, it's normally the order of who's going to win, who's the first try scorer, who's going to be we need a new question. Who's going to make the first, or who's going to drop the ball first, Sebastian, in this contest? Although that will also depend on who is kicking off. But now, Argentina about to get underway. Antoinette, is here with the A. So I hope you are doing well. But the Argentina national anthem being sung, Los Pumas will be fired up. They will be trying to make it 2-2 for the North versus South rivalries that we have seen. Pablo Matera going to be captaining the side that is due to Julio Montoya not being there, but it is a male and female duo singing the Argentine national anthem in front of what looks like it is pretty close to a sellout crowd in this contest. And Augustin Crevi's just yelling it, and Carrera's first knock on, says Sebastian there as well. But nonetheless, this match just about to get underway. I feel like I'm not very central on this field. It looks a bit strange, but this is the field that we are playing on, although there is a lot more blue in the background than there is anything else. So the Pumas, they have turned up for this game Argentina, it's been a great atmosphere for the first two contests, and now we are here for the third. I saw Ben O'Keefe a little bit earlier on, so I believe he is going to be involved in the officiating of this contest. I think he was the touch judge, if I'm not wrong. And okay, here we go. Imagine being Australian, imagine being Welsh, and imagine being a Kiwi right now. Says Gareth there in Argentina. Come on, make your supporters proud. Says Etienne. And there as well. But yeah, South Africa doing very well up against Wales. The South Wind, right? Ben O'Keefe is actually going to be in charge of this one. Reynolds, Pranini, and also McNeese are going to be the three referees alongside him. I haven't heard of any of them. So we'll see how it goes. And Uruguay versus Kiwi and Tonga and South African Romanians in there as well, says Sebastian there. I mean, if you got a few, you got a few internationals in there, it's going to be handy enough for Romania. Right, Santiago Carreras is going to be kicking off this game for Argentina, if that affects your decision of who has the first knock on at Old Sebastian. Maybe it doesn't. This is for a pack of scorpions. Such a weird statement. No one will understand it other than the boys or the lads who are in the normal circle. Santiago Carreras kicks it off. O'Keefe is a Kiwi. He certainly is. And now that's already been knocked backwards. I think that might have been. No, it wasn't a knock on, so we're all good. It's the first knock on in the match. Santiago Carreras has got it in his hands now. Has not put it down yet. Fire back across. And the young halfback's going to have a big opportunity here. See how he does end up going, because we are going to have to wait and see what he can do rather than Bertrano, rather than Cubelli. There are so many options that they could have had, but unfortunately Argentina have been plagued with a few injuries, but instead it is Baizan Velez who does get the start. Now passing it back across to the hands of Thomas Lavanini, who loves a bit of physicality. A toffee scorpion box at stake, says Sebastian. It's a penalty to Scotland. Nicely done by the Scottish there. Oh, Lavanini straight away having a bit of a chat to Xander Fagerson. He's saying, I don't care if it's your 50th cap, I'm going to knock you over later on. Question, Sebastian, for the box of Scorpions. Does it have to be that it's a knock-on and it's called as a knock-on, or just a knock-on advantage counts? Let me know. I'm sure it probably isn't that deep, is it? Oh, Robert, just a little mistake there. Thomas Lavanini went down, and then straight over the ball was Rory Darge. It did end up getting a penalty for Scotland. Right, throw about to come in. Ewan Ashman looking to go to the front. Nicely taken at the front by Scotland. Now Ali Price goes back across. Brilliant sell of the dummy from, it was Tui Piloto, and also Anta is get a grip in there. And also thanks for being up so late, bro. Have you eaten at least? Says Dude, I'm perfect. Yeah, I did have a snack at about, I think it was 5:30 a.m. I did have something to eat, but I probably will end up having something else after this live stream, whether that is going to be like, I guess, nighttime, or not nighttime, maybe breakfast, or if it counts as like a late dinner. That's going to be kicked into touch. Nice work from Santiago Carreras off the boot there. Nice run from Sione Tuipulotu. Couple of extra meters there, but they did end up saying that it was a penalty against the Scottish. But 2 minutes into this contest, it's going to be a tough one. Both of these sides going to bring that extra physicality. Okay, Ben O'Keefe saying that the gap is not quite there, and also get a red ball and zinger wings in there as well, says Peter Lowe. Although every time we mention KFC, it does make me want it a little bit more, but I don't know whether or not that is going to be on the cards for today. Augustine Crevi taken nicely at the front there for Guido Petty, who did actually end up with a broken nose not too long ago, but luckily he is back now. Great attack and run here, and now brilliant run. Ball on the outside. It's put down by Emiliano Boffelli. Right, if they count this as a line out, I would say that that doesn't count as Emiliano Boffelli's first line out or the handling error. But if they go scrum, you would have to say that it does count. Whatever you do, don't get energy drinks, says Sebastian there. Yeah, I feel like that would be the last thing that my body needs after like 20 hours of being awake. And let's go Pumas, says Theo there. All 7-0 to the USA. And it was Osefo who was able to score the try. McGinty converted. So USA sitting 7-0 up against Chile. And also show us the sock. Come on, you gotta, says Pete. All right then. The socks ain't too special today. They're just, I don't know if you can see that. They're just yellow. They aren't the pineapple socks, which weirdly enough, they always ended up being for these long nights of live stream. So I actually purposely wore them the night before so that I wouldn't end up with the same ones for today. Kicked in behind from Argentina, or now, sorry, it was actually Scotland kicking it in behind. Emiliano Boffelli does now hang on to that one. A nice come on the Eagles. And there's a big shot. Now, nice offload back to Pablo Matera. And he did play for Crusaders throughout Super Rugby. Still looking dangerous. He did actually miss last week due to an injury, but he's back now, which is great to see for Argentina, as he's going to be one of their keys in the Rugby Championship. Once again, it will be Bazan Velez. Goes off to the number 7 in this game, which is Grondona. Tyus. In fact, it is Thomas Lavanini getting driven backwards in the tackle by Matt Fagerson, the brother of the man who was getting in the face of before. Gustin Crevi receives the short pass. And hold on, I'm going to show you my undies, says Peter. And there as well. Luckily, I can't see nothing, Peter. Or also, that is probably quite beneficial. Now, a nice run forward. Ripped away, though. Clean steal from Matt Bennett. Or Mark Bennett. I keep on calling him Matt or Mark, but it is Mark Bennett in the midfield. And now Ewan Ashman goes forward. Price crossed to Kinghorn. Step from Matt Fagerson trying to go through that Argentine defence, but Santiago Carreras helps drag the man down. Facundo asking for a penalty. I'm not too sure what for, though. That's going to be a brilliant kick from Scotland, and if it goes into touch, although it's just going to keep on rolling and rolling some more. Now in the hands of the number 14, Bautista Dalgui gives the offload on the inside to Matthias Orlando. He's playing in his 50th match. That was risky from Argentina, and also I'll get you the Discord link, says Sebastian. And now Argentina have this one on their own 22. Hamish Watson, or in fact it's Rory Darge, trying to cause a bit of a nuisance of himself at the breakdown, trying to put the pressure on Argentina. But 5.5 minutes through this one, and it is kicked downfield from Lautaro Bazan Velez. And also we're going to bring back Hugo Porter in there, as I says Neil Gamer, or Garner, sorry. Taken nicely. And now kicked him behind from Juan Cruz Malia. Some decent distance on that, but it's gone straight into the hands of the youngster Oliver Smith. Jeez, he's given that a bit of a boot. It's gone almost down. That would almost have been a 50-22 if he had found a bounce in there, bloody hell, Pumas. But to win this, at least it'll end in a 50-50 result, says Peter Lowe. And the big thing is for this game, it was actually very close in the betting odds. I believe one side was $1.80, the other side was $2.05. So it's pretty much a pick-em game. Whoever plays the better rugby, I would say in the last 20 minutes is going to be able to win this game. It's a good kick downfield, bit of a territory battle, and Santiago Carreras has been able to get that one into touch. It started with quite a few kicks throughout these two sides in the early stages. Now, the thing is, last match it started off with all running, all pace, whereas this one it seems like they're being a little bit more strategic with the way that they are attacking. There was the mistake initially from Emiliano Boffelli. That was a little while ago. I believe this is actually the first time that the ball's gone out and stayed out for more than a few seconds before the quick throw. Now taken nicely by Johnny Gray, but it was not straight, says Ben O'Keefe. And now it does mean that Argentina will have themselves a scrum feed. It's not a fair contest, says Ben O'Keefe. Pablo Matera currently, he's got a similar mustache to myself, except his looks a lot better than mine. I think that's from playing at the Crusaders. And he also mentioned in one of the interviews that he would be keen to try and get himself a mullet at some stage if he keeps on playing in New Zealand. So if the Crusaders want him again, I would say we're going to see a Pablo with a mullet before the end of 2023, which would actually build into the World Cup. Is this the second or third test? This has already been answered. I'm sorry, Argentina late, says Fiona. No worries at all. It is the third test match. So the first match did go the way of Argentina. Second match was won by Scotland. And now whoever wins this match does end up winning the test series. And also, damn, you look tired, bro, says Peter Lowe. We have been up for about 21 hours or 20 hours or so. That's probably a little bit understandable at this point in time. But now Facundo Eze tries to break off the back, I should say. Pass back across. They've got a new advantage. So actually quite a few penalties going against Scotland in the early stages. On the halfway line, Thomas Lavanini tries to break through, but Hamish Watson gets him down. Trying to step through. Santiago Carreras. That ball was almost stripped from him. Now coming in through the back. Rufus McLean fighting hard for it, and they're going back for the penalty. Okay, thank you. Says Fiona, no worries at all. And also a Northern Hemisphere side are firm favourites to win the 2023 Royal Cup. Says Neil Garner. Yeah, at the moment they are sitting relatively high up there. And the rankings looks like Santiago Carreras might have taken a bit of a knock on the nose Okay. Pablo Matera wants the one straight out in front. He wants Emiliano Boffelli to have a kick at the post from about 53 meters out. Okay, they are going to go for a big boot. Downfield, Emiliano Boffelli. If he gets it, it's going to be very useful. And also, we're going to use the membership comment to promote the membership. I hope you don't mind, says Sebastian. I mean, it's thinking outside of the box, but I like it. Do you want me to check it, Sebastian? In fact, I think I can actually get it on this one relatively simply. Was it just a link? Wait, can you put links in that? I don't know if it would let you or not. But yeah, thinking outside of the box, moderator of the year right there. A moment, we'll go like this. And we'll go like this. And like this. And the verdict is, and go Pumas, says Adrian. And also, how long have you been up? Rose says Peter Lowe. I am currently moving into my 21st hour, somewhere along those lines. And a membership link in the pinned comment emojis. Oh, and you've ticked over to 12 months. So that should mean, theoretically, you will be turning into a diamond badge very soon, I would think. Now, Emiliano Boffelli lining up. And also, are you a Blues fan? I think you're a Canes fan, says Neil Garner. I do enjoy watching the Hurricanes. And I do love their kit the most in an evening game. It's greeting from Germany. But you bow Wales. Says Gavin there as well. But that kick has gone over from Emiliano Boffelli. A very good strike of the ball. And now it does make the score a little bit in favour of the home side, Argentina. Now sitting 3-0 in this contest. Currently still in that game between USA and Chile. It is in the first half, 7-0 favour of the USA. So they have got an 8-point lead over their opposition. I believe earlier on in the day we did actually see Georgia. They were taking on Portugal and ended up winning that game 23 points to 14. Nicely taken by Bautista Dalgui. He's been forced to the touch, and it's 11 months and 17 days, but they rounded up. And once I tip over, I'll get the platinum badge. And also, how the F do you do it as well, says Peter Lowe. I think the thing that really helps is the fact that there's so much rugby on, just back to back to back to back. So it kind of, like, the hardest part is the 2 hours or so in between when there's no rugby, and I've got to find something to do for that time. And normally it's just like more editing. Like, I actually edited a few clips for George while we were having a bit of a break. So I downloaded a few of our old videos off the gaming channel and then put them into clips. And the break, Kinghorn, nice run. Didn't quite find the offload that he would have been after. And now Ali Price goes back across to Xander Fagerson. Gives it off to Johnny Gray, driven backwards. And also, I know that you are young. About how do you feel about Argentina's progress over the last 20 years, says Gavin. So I can probably only really comment on their last maybe 5 years or so. But for me, it's a tricky one because with them getting taken out of Super Rugby, we thought that that might have been the downfall of Argentina, but they still seem to be able to compete. But I think it's because they're in a group with South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia, that they don't quite look as good as they are, if that makes sense. Like, they do play some very good rugby. Like, they pushed the Scottish in that first match. Nice offload to Duan van der Merwe. Just as I say that, Scotland are about to run in for the try. Duan van der Merwe reaches out and scores the try for Scotland. Oh, his face hit the ground. But he's all right for Duan van der Merwe. But that is the first try of the match for Scotland. And Portugal and Italy both lost by 9 to Georgia, just saying. Says Sebastian in there. And Argentina is a damn good team. Says Peter Lowe, exactly right. And Duan van der Merwe has just been able to run straight through the middle of the Argentine defence and get himself the first try of this contest. Hang on, Sebastian. You predicted van der Merwe first try, didn't you? Hang on. Where are we at? There you go. Duan with the first try. Nailed it. Eh? Now Scotland by 10. And then you have both pieces of the puzzle. And Duan with the first try. Get in, Seb, says Sebastian. And also, do you think Scott Robertson will be installed as the new All Blacks coach before or after the Rugby World Cup? I think after the World Cup will be the more likely. The only way he gets in before, I think, is if Ian Foster resigns, which I don't see him doing if he's getting paid well. But it's kind of that one of how much does he, I guess, or how much can he take from the New Zealand public? That one's gone over. And now the score is 7 points to 3 in favour of Scotland. Hopefully the scoreboard does update relatively soon, but we are 13 and a half minutes through, and Duan van der Merwe just broke through the tackle of Juan Cruz Malia and then used that size to go over the top of Carreras. And also, who was the other one? It was Pablo Matera was the other man who he just went straight over the top of, which is very impressive indeed. But the score, 7 points to Scotland, 3 to Argentina. This game, once again, seems like it's going to have a little bit of drama throughout. Santiago Carreras kicks down to the 22, taken nicely by Matt Fagerson, tries to fend off Guido Petty. Seen taken down just inside of the 22. They will be able to clear this one out on the full. And that is what Kinghorn is aiming for. I think Joe Schmidt, we put in as full-time consultant to Fozzie. And there says Gareth, and also Argentina can easily be a quarterfinal or semi-final team in the World Cup. So here's Peter Lowe. Yeah, if they get the luck of the draw and a couple good results going their way, Argentina, they can go far in the competition. I'd like to think they've got a win in the Rugby Championship coming up. That was a mistake from, I think that was actually Thomas Gallo, but it just smacked him in the thigh. So he was all good. And also Window Reviews interviews Thomas. Has said hi as well. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Once again, another good run from the midfield. It's going to be stolen off Matthias Maroni. That is about the third time that Argentina have given up the ball to Scotland in a strip. Now, backline, Rory Dard gives it off to Sione Tuipulotu. Tries to go himself. Instead, gives it off to the youngster Ollie Smith. Price goes back to the left-hand side. Ashman decides to try and pierce his way straight through the middle of the Argentine defence. Kinghorn cut out past to Matt Fagerson. In fact, it's Xander Fagerson, his brother. I was going to say bro, but then I thought I'm not cool enough to use bro, so I was going to say brother. And instead, I said both. Now, Price going back to Sione Tuipulotu, tries to step through. Does end up getting dragged down very nicely. And as Mel Gibson playing, says Nazi Williams, not that I know of. I haven't seen the name pop up yet. I'm trying to look whether or not we've got anyone similar. I mean, to be fair, Hamish Watson would make a very good Braveheart, I would think. And also, like what happened to Jake White in 2006, he got called back to South Africa and Eddie made his consultant. And I've just seen the Kane and Foster press conference. They literally look fed up with life. Tough situation, but they'll bounce back to winning ways. Says Sebastian there as well. Nice work from Scotland. Currently 10 phases in a row. Now Xander Fagerson gets forced sideways. Sione Tuipulotu dragged down 25 metres out. That's straight over the ball for Argentina, and it's the penalty as well. Nice work from Joel Schillavi, I believe it is. Being able to win that penalty turnover for Argentina. That's probably a good time to get it as well. After about 12 phases, Argentina might have started to tire. They did have to do a few more. Sione Tuipulotu, the man penalised for that one. And also, not yet. He's still fighting for freedom. And there says Peter Lowe. Kick downfield from Santiago Carreras. Let's get a decent amount of distance on that one. But, it's just smacked Thomas Gallo, or as I've called him, Galjo. I don't know how you say it now. But either way, he got hit in the face with it. And which international rugby ground do you like the best? Which fans sing their national anthem loudest, says Neil Garner. So I would say, stadium I like the best. I love watching a game at Twickenham, Principality Stadium, Aviva Stadium. Like, there's so many great grounds around the world. And then loudest national anthem. I mean, Ireland just blast it from the rooftop, don't they? Flower of Scotland as well is a pretty awesome one to hear. If you are in Murrayfield, that's going to be a nice ball popped up 40 metres out now for Argentina. Off good run from Fernando Isa. Around the side, Augustine Crevi, the London Irish player, tries to snipe. It didn't quite work out for him. Now around the side once again, they are going with Grondona. So it seems like Argentina persisting on using those big forwards to try and make those extra meters. It's stripped again by Scotland. That is the third time that I've counted, if not the fourth. They were saying, you're cool enough to use Bro Hamish and pronounce Pacific Island Maori names, but then some Maori themselves, you're a certified Bro Hamish. And evening Hamish, you're looking fresh, says Cameron. And there as well, big match. So we wore the big match suit, of course, and the English are pretty awesome when they start singing whatever it is they sing, says Peter Lowe. That is now going to be, what's the call from Ben O'Keefe here? Okay, it's a free kick. And also the Welsh and Italians are also very passionate during the anthem, says Sebastian there. Yeah, exactly right. Kick downfield from Duan van der Merwe. Just kicks it straight down the middle. And now Juan Cruz Malia sticks it high. Carreras tries to line it up, but instead Pablo Matera knocks it back onto their side. I think he just chested that one down, the Argentine player. I want to say that was Matthias Moroni. Now Rufus McLean has cleaned up that ball. He was brilliant in last year's internationals, was able to get himself, I believe, 2 or 3 tries alongside Kyle Stain, who also got himself a few. In fact, Rufus might have got him the 4. I know that one of them got 4 and the other got 2 in that game. That's a beautiful little chip in behind. And if it sits up nicely for Kinghorn, instead he kicks it forward, but it's gone straight into the hands of Bautista Dalgui. And now he's starting to step around a little bit. He looks like he'd be great at 7s, Bautista Dalgui. The way that he can step one-on-one now. Juan Cruz Malia ball on the inside to Emiliano Boffelli. Great support run from Santiago Carreras. And he's going in for the try. And Argentina now take the lead back. Who's got the upper hand in this game, Hamish? Can Scotland pull a win? They were deemed underdogs for this game, says Cameron. I mean, Argentina have just made a brilliant run straight up the middle with Santiago Carreras. This is a tricky one to predict. I think this game, like for me, it easily could have been 50-50 for the prediction. Oh, they want to check something, I think. Okay, advantage over, they've said, and then Bautista Dalgui went beautifully. And do you think Georgia should replace Italy in the Six Nations? I don't know whether they'll do it because there are quite a few Italians on the Six Nations board. So it kind of be like shooting themselves in the foot that they might really not want to. Michael Chica is the weak part. And the Argentine side says Peter Lowe. Santiago Carreras did manage to get the try. And now Emiliano Boffelli just about to line up this kick. But this game's being played at a fast pace, ladies and gentlemen. These two sides are going to have to slow down at some point, but they don't look like they're doing it anytime soon. I think we're going to see an all-out pace first half. There's a great backline from Argentina. Offload after offload. Emiliano Boffelli giving it up to Santiago Carreras. And then he was able to go in, caught a little bit off the line. I think that was Rufus McLean trying to get back. It might have actually been Ollie Smith. Didn't quite get onto it the way that he wanted. And also, Chile versus USA is 7-0 for the US winner on points difference. Qualifies for Rugby World Cup. USA won the first match 22-21. In fact, I've actually just got a notification saying Osefu's just scored again for the USA. So that will actually give them a 36-21 lead as we currently sit, if I'm not wrong there, as McGinty has been able to convert. So right as we were talking about it, they managed to score again, the USA. And Diego said go Pumas, and also the 2 Italian teams in the URC. The whole tradition of the Six Nations. It'd have to be a very special situation to change the nations involved and just make it the 7 nations. Italy have had some great wins. The only team they haven't beaten are New Zealand, England, and Australia, and definitely go Pumas. How's it, Hamish? So proud of the box. Go Pumas, says Suckabulla there, and come on the Pumas, says Diego. There's also a lot of support for Argentina here. I just watched the Fozzie and Kane press conference, man. They look like death froze over. Geez, about Artie's emotion as well. He was willing to die for the jersey today. Says Cameron. It's going to be kicked in behind from Scotland. It looks like, geez, this pitch just keeps on rolling. It's about as soft or about as hard, I guess you could say, as a cricket bat, and it just doesn't seem like it wants to stop. They look like they were going to consider taking the quick throw. They decided against it in the end. A little yawn sneaking through. Oh, USA have just scored another try. And that time, McGinty's been able to get it. So he has not just converted the 2 tries. Now he has been able to get himself another one. The aggregate now 20 points in favour of the USA. That is huge for them. At this point in time, might be booking their way through to the Rugby World Cup. Thrown in, a little bit loose there. It might have been stolen. In fact, it's a knock-on advantage now for Scotland. Rory Darge trying to break his way through, but he has been tackled hard. And the tackle by Grondona, and Georgia and Romania should be included, expanding 6 nations to 8. And pickups to South Africa for holding it down for the Southern Hemisphere. Come on, Pumas, says Abio, and go Pumas, says Etany. And that's exactly what I said as well, Cameron. They look fed up with life no jokes, says Sebastian. And chalk up some purchase has got the muscles. And then don't stress New Zealand, the Abies will be back and better than ever. So here's Suckabulla now. Nice run from Mark. Better bump off there. Nice attack and run from Scotland, trying to get themselves another try before the end of this first half. And there's still another 17 minutes. It's going to be taken nicely by Xander Ferguson, dragged down. Pablo Matera straight over the ball, but it's a penalty against him. And why isn't the pod system working for the All Blacks? Says Neil, it seems to be just something. Well, actually, the handling errors are probably the thing that's been costing them the most, the All Blacks, because anytime they like try and go with some sort of structured play, it just ends up with either the handling error or the penalty against them in the breakdown. No, Nathan, not quite there to face the Six Nations side. Here's Sebastian. And in there as well. Now, Scotland, rather than taking on the easy three, they have decided they want to kick this one for the corner, which is risky because I think he's almost kicked that one dead, has he? No, not quite. Geez, that must have been close. And I feel like the Welsh, Irish, Scottish want Georgia to replace Italy because they fear Italy. So here's Ronnie O'Sullivan there. And also Scotland will win easily, said Shade, Monroe, and Georgia and Spain, best teams outside Six Nations. So here's Jeff. Line out throw here for Scotland. Huge opportunity. Ewan Ashman goes in straight. A lot of counselling going on in New Zealand. See Sakabula and also New Zealand ABs have no chemistry. You can see it through their play. There's Abiel, nice rolling maul. Ashman at the back, waiting for the chance to go down over the line, and he does just that. And it's another try for Scotland. We are seeing tries flat out. 2 for Scotland in this first half, 1 for Argentina. And currently only 2 points difference between the two sides. Scotland take the lead back in this contest up against Los Pumas. Rolling more was an effective choice to go to it in the corner now. Romania's above Spain, unbiased opinion. See Sebastian there. And also the thing is, Fozzie has a coach trial in era style. He doesn't know who his best players are, and some are in form or in the team purely on reputation and not form, says Cameron. In there as well. It's a great rolling more from Scotland. There was no way of stopping it for Argentina. It was about 3-on-1 at the end. Argentina so bad, says Jay Munro. I mean, they still managed to score a try just before. They're only 2 points down at this current point in time. So, you know, it's still a close game. And Cameron, namely Roger Torvasashek. Here's Sebastian there. Where Kinghorn going to be lining up this kick. Because I am actually thinking about doing a rugby challenge career mode as the All Blacks again. Possibly see how I go. And isn't there a World Cup final between North and Southern Hemisphere? So here's Neil there. That's a good question. I'd love to see some sort of North versus South competition going on. Maybe the World Cup in 2023. We might get to see a North versus South final. But now Kinghorn getting ready to strike this one. Taking his time, making sure that he's got the radar in check. It must have worked. Because that kick has gone over, and now the score will be 14 points to 10. Also, man, that's a fat tie. Where did you get it? Says Gavin there. I think I got it from, I think it was just Hellenstein's, to be honest. It's quite large. It did the double Windsor. And also Rugby Challenge 4 All Blacks campaign versus Rugby 22 All Blacks campaign. Says Sebastian, could be an idea. And these results mean nothing when the World Cup comes around. Says Peter Lowe, prediction for the Romania game tomorrow. And if Romania win, and they are in the World Cup, and why? Or they win, are they in the World Cup, and why? Are they underdogs? The best Uruguay convincingly last week. So Romania actually already are qualified in that Rugby World Cup. So they don't have to go through the repechage or anything. That is due to, once again, the Spanish getting themselves taken out of the competition by breaking the rules. And vehicle, Sebastian, would be good to boost their rugby, keep the paces out of rugby at its best. And France versus New Zealand in the final in France will edge it. I reckon early prediction. I'll probably change my mind next year. Says Ronnie, and England looked the business when they beat New Zealand but folded in the final. And South Africa should be in the Six Nations as a unique European competition, or shouldn't be in the Six Nations as a unique European competition, in my opinion, says C. Kayak. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that, because me and George, we were talking about it earlier on, how it doesn't just change. Like, it's not really as simple as putting that side in the competition to see how they go. You've got all of that extra travel involved. You've got, what are you going to do with Italy if you take them out? You know, is there some sort of other competition that might make its way through Japan and Fiji or Samoa for the Southern Six Nations? Says chalk up some purchase, and we need to invest in rugby more. All money goes into football in this country. Says Sebastian, but that is going to be the penalty to Argentina. Hamish Watson staying down a little bit longer. Might have been a little bit sore after that breakdown. Santiago Carreras, this one is within Emiliano Boffelli's kicking distance. But I don't see Emiliano Boffelli really walking up too quickly. But Pablo Matera says we want to take the 3. And I was over there, George, who ate the chocolates. Jokes, says Nazi Williams. The thing is, you say jokes, but he did eat my Tim Tams before he left. So I guess you're kind of correct there. And kudos to Ireland, but they probably didn't get anything out of the series except for confidence. Says Gavin there. Although they did make history in the process, which was always awesome See, USA have got themselves a yellow card now in their game up against Chile, ladies and gentlemen. But currently with the aggregate 20 points in favour of the USA. Geez, I think they got a lot out of it. See, Sakabola and 100% Sansa should put all their egos aside and put a comp in place that's beneficial for all, but they just care about the money, says Cameron. And which team has the most ball position? At this stage, we have seen a little bit more, I would say probably territory in favour of Argentina, but possession just in favour of Scotland. I don't think it will be a mile off 50-50, but what we'll quickly do is we'll click on stats, and 54% actually for Scotland in the possession, and the territory for Argentina, 61%. Give him a break. Looks like a big boy in there as well, says Nazi Williams. And there as well. And also, we've got there what team? Oh, no, I read that one. And I was exactly, but yeah, the money, says Peter Lowe there. And the way the Wallabies are going, the South will never play each other. Kicked off long, or goal kick. He hasn't struck that the way that he needed to. Has gone out to the side a little bit. And also, we have got there, would you be interested in a collab on my podcast, says Cameron. I guess so. What do you, I assume it's a rugby podcast, because other than rugby, I know nothing at all, pretty much. And also, will basketball eventually take over in New Zealand as its number one sport? And come on, RG, says Sakabola, and I hope it's a close match. I don't want Scotland or Argentina running away with it, says Ronnie. And at the moment, it does seem like it's a back and forth, bit of a chess battle between these two sides early on. And position, says Adrian there. So yeah, more position for Scotland, more territory for Argentina, and a little knock on the ground there from Argentina, and also probably no learnings, though, says Gavin. And although they certainly, I mean, I think they're number one ranked at the moment. All Chile just scored, got back into it a little bit. It was Torrealba who has scored that try for Chile. So now the aggregate gets a little bit closer. I think that's going to be a relatively close game between those two sides. Same as this one. Yeah, mate, I do all sport, but mainly soccer, rugby, cricket, says Cameron there as well. So yeah, I don't know a huge amount about the, I guess, the soccer side of things, but rugby and cricket I might be able to help out a little bit. Why, but Elite Dude, your dad were awesome on State of overnight. Your dad knows league, man, says Nazi Williams. He does indeed, and we are thinking about doing a few more games of the NRL in the future, if that is something you guys are keen on seeing. We probably won't end up doing the games that are today or later on today here in New Zealand, just because my eyelids, they'll be pretty heavy by then, I would think, and I might be half asleep. But I mean, there's some good games coming up. West Tigers Panthers should be a decent one. Storm versus Raiders, I'd love to watch, but my eyes will hurt. And Bulldogs versus Rabbitohs would also be a cool one to watch if I can somehow make it through to about 10 p.m. tonight. Keen, says Nazi Williams. Kick downfield from Scotland, and you deserve the rest, mate. And I can't see Scotland losing this, says Seamus there. And yeah, at the moment, I mean, that's the thing. Going into this match, I felt Scotland were the favourites, even though the betting had them as the underdogs. I believe that was due to the fact that it wasn't Argentina. So that is why they decided that it was a little bit more in favour of Los Pumas. Although the backline is looking crisp when they get it right. They are a hard side to stop, but we've already seen Scotland probably turn over about 3 or 4 in the breakdown, which has been pretty handy in the Warriors ones. Says Nazi Williams, yeah, it would certainly be a good start. And you commentating on the game or not, says Callum. We are doing a little bit of a combination of this one. We did get slightly distracted there, so I do apologise. That one kick back downfield from Santiago Carreras. Nicely cleaned up from Rufus McLean. Now tries to step around. Great low tackle by Carreras. Now 35 metres out from the line. Karevi straight on the ball. Or sorry, Karevi straight on the ball, I should say, rather than Karevi. And also, do you think Watson and Daj are the best international jacklers in the game just now? Not the biggest. Boy, they can compete, or they can be complete menaces on the deck. So you see Kayak, they're right up there. Alongside that, I would say Josh Van den Flair is right up there for me at the moment for Ireland. He is absolutely brilliant. Also, he's your second favourite player, snooker player, apart from Ronnie, says Sebastian. And I like rugby, snooker, boxing, and tennis, my favourite sports. And yeah, we might actually get to do a little bit of it for the Commonwealth Games, a couple of those other ones possibly, such as the boxing and whatnot. Okay, Emiliano Bolfelli. Looks like he is going to be going for the 3 points again, but Rufus McLean was tackled low and then straight on the ball. About 3 Argentinian players. They were going to be hard to shift just with the one player trying to clean them out. So straight away, it was Matthias Maroni, and then Daj just had to try and clean out about 7 guys, which was not going to be too easy. is snooker at the Commonwealth Games? It's not, is it? And why didn't David Campese become a coach? I think he would have been brilliant. Says Neil Garner. Yeah, there's a few players in the past that have looked like they'd have a decent chance of being able to I guess make it at international level for coaching and everything, and then they just never quite equate to anything. But Emiliano Boffelli just about to line up this kick about 38 meters out on the angle. Taking some deep breaths, wants to make sure that this one goes over. If he gets it, then it will just become a 1-point contest between them and also myself after 100 shooters. And cheers for acknowledging, getting back to it, says Callum in there as well. And yeah, I've noticed that. Oh, that's nice. That's gone straight over. So now the score is going to be 13 points to Argentina and 14 to Scotland. But yeah, I've noticed because normally the later we get through the live streams, this is our 6th one today for the commentary, and it's normally the later we get, the more distracted I get just from little tiny things. It could literally be one word, and then I go on a rant about some random stuff that isn't really relevant. But that kick has gone over from Argentina for Emiliano Boffelli, only missing the one so far. 35 minutes through will be 14 to 13. And Sebastian Stewart Bingham. Here's Ronnie O'Sullivan. That's going to be put down by Fukando Iza. And now another opportunity there is wrestling, though. Says Sebastian. That is true. It's not Greco-Roman, is it? It's just wrestling in general, isn't it? Oh, that was a tough one to try and take. It was straight into the sun. Fukando Iza went straight through his hands. And rugby union's going around the world. Amazing how many languages there are in rugby, says Nathan. Yeah, it's growing at a hectic rate. I'm looking forward to that 2023 World Cup. See both of these sides there alongside them. We're going to get to see a few other sides. Maybe the USA could be another side that start to make their way forward. I'm just looking through. The Warriors play the Raiders next week at 5 p.m. I bet you that's when Tonga play up against the other fellows. Tonga, they probably, or not Tonga. Yeah, Tonga up against Hong Kong. Amateur wrestling, like the Olympics event, where Kurt Angle won the gold medal with a broken neck, I've heard a few times as well. And would you consider covering women's rugby? We have actually done a little bit of it in the past. We are going to be doing the Women's Rugby World Cup. And also, I do want to do a little bit more of the Women's International Rugby. But unfortunately, the women's competition has really overlapped with the men's this year. Or the Pacific Nations Cup anyway, because I'd love to be able to do the game between Fiji and Samoa that's happening this afternoon, but unfortunately I think I'll be asleep by there. And also I'd like to see you doing MotoGP, says Peter Lowen there. And also I also like Neil Robinson and Ding Junhui, hopefully I said that correctly, and talk us through your mustache decision, given it's not November yet, says Callum. That's a good question. Pretty much did used to have the beard, but Springboks lost that game a week ago, so because of it, I had to shave it and leave the mustache. The thing is, if Scotland win this game, it's very lucky South Africa won their game up against Wales, or else I would have had to shave it as well, and then had a cold top lip. And what is your opinion? Was the best ever try you have seen? Oh, there's some good ones. I mean, to be fair, the Wallabies try today was actually pretty crispy between Tom Wright and Nick White. I wouldn't say it was the best try I've ever seen, but it was probably the best try of today that we had. Best try overall. There are so many classic runs, whether you want a solo bit of brilliance or an epic team try. And Tonga or Hong Kong needs to qualify for France 2023, and that is going to be going back for another penalty now in favour of Scotland. Just a few too many errors from Argentina at this point. And also, are you going to do F1 or Premier League? We actually want to cover a little bit of both. I know that Isaac is more of the Formula One fellow out of the Kiwi lads. He knows a lot more about it than myself. So he would be one that we do try and get on for those ones. But overall, we have got a few plans, but they are going to be on the Kiwi lad spot. And Bocky saved Hamish's mode. Nice. And I made a 100 break in real life, by the way. True story, says Sebastian. Now, nicely stolen. A little bit rough from the Argentines, but they've been able to get... That's an absolutely brilliant kick downfield for what was an extremely pressured situation. Now back across to Ollie White, or Ollie Smith, sorry, and the midfield there. And John Alomwe versus England 1995. And then, yeah, he won't make you forget it with a broken neck, says Cameron. And Selby is my fantastic player. But I have never forgave him for beating Ronnie in the 2014 World Championship final, says Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, beautifully taken by Santiago Carreras, who's had his leg kind of held up by Duan van der Merwe. Now wrestled his way down to the ground. Only 1 point difference between these two teams now. And he passed across from Thomas Lavanini. Slightly drive the Argentines backwards there with Scotland. Okay, looks like there's another box hit coming in. It will be Lautaro Bazan Velez. Does put it up high now. And just indulge me, does Japan fall into the southern hemisphere or north, and France in the north, right? So France is north. Japan also, I mean, they are north, but their time zone actually suits the southern hemisphere a little bit more, if that makes sense. What World Rugby rules would you change and why, says Neil Garner. That's going to be another penalty to Scotland. Oh, Ben O'Keefe got in the way of that one. But for me, if I had to pick one rule in particular, it would be when a team's held up when they're on attack, it doesn't become a goal line dropout. I would take that back out and I would go for a 5-meter scrum instead, because that's normally when you see a team really attacking. And it seems like a shame to go from getting like 5 meters out, just held up, to then being about 45 meters back on halfway just because you were held up by this much. So that's probably one rule that I would reconsider. Overall, I think Argentina's done pretty well there. There's some random static that we're hearing in the game, like someone's clicking the fast forward button on a couple of these players. Now that sounds like the halftime siren, so all Scotland will be trying to do here is get this kick over, and they will get themselves a bit more of a lead going into the second half. And Sebastian Nice, I suck at snooker. I just love watching it. Yeah, league rules. Should be league rules as well, says Sebastian. Kinghorn currently, and with a pretty decent kicking record for this contest. Yeah, Fiji plays Samoa at 3:30 p.m. New Zealand time, and I just wish it wasn't at 3:30 p.m. New Zealand time, because if it was tomorrow, I'll be able to cover it. If it was yesterday, I would have been able to cover it to a certain extent, depending on the time. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just absolutely like terrible timing. And Japan is northern eastern, according to Google, says Nathan there. It's a good strike of the ball. It's hit the crossbar and come back out in Argentina. They will try and kick this one into touch, and that one has just found the touchline. That will be halftime between these two sides, and it is going to be 13 points to 14, an incredibly close game between Argentina and Scotland. Only one can win the series, but we will have to wait for the second 40, see exactly who does take it out. Oh, yeah, the Women's Pacific Nations, I believe it is going the way of, hang on, whereabouts is it? No, not the Women's Six Nations. Okay, it doesn't seem to have the one for the grouping, but I believe that's Fiji are at the top with 2 wins, Samoa just behind them, but the points differential actually more in favour of the Fijians. Hello from Fiji, says Militoni, and also Northerners are leading Southerners by a point at halftime. England versus Aussie match, says Sebastian there. Yeah, it is relatively close to it, and FES says Peter Lowe. Yeah, for that one as well. But yeah, it's going to be an epic match, because one of them bet Papua New Guinea women's side 152-0. The other bet the Papua New Guinea's women's side 91-0. So they both did very well up against Papua New Guinea women. And Fiji women had just a little bit more of a win over Tonga. So it is almost the equivalent of a final. So yeah, we'll see how we're going. If we are still awake at that point, because there is a chance that we could be, we will consider covering that game on the channel at 3:30 p.m. New Zealand time, and maybe on the Kiwi Lad Sport, just to avoid any copyright, seeing as we haven't done any of that competition as of yet. But yeah, we'll see how we get on and whether or not the eyelids are completely open at that point. I'll probably just be wearing a normal attire for that one rather than the full-on suit and tie. But Commonwealth Games just around the corner. It's going to be awesome seeing Fiji, seeing who else have we got in there? Of course, Scotland going to have their team. I believe they've got a relatively tough pool in there. I think they've got South Africa for the pools of the Commonwealth Games. Got an advertisement for F1 there at the moment. So that's the thing. Isaac, I know that most of them take place at random hours for us, so we don't really get to see them like that live, I guess you could say. And also, hi, how's it going? Says Ron now. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. I'm doing all right. I thought I would be tireder at this point, but I've only done about 2 yawns today. And we have been going for about 20 hours or something like that. And Wallaby's got slap day. Sebastian Stokes Stokes it up, mate. Congrats to England. Says Nathan there as well. Yeah, 2 series wins going the way of the English and the Irish. And now Scotland want to try and add their name onto that Northern Hemisphere list. South Africa may be the only side for the Southern Hemisphere that were able to get themselves a win in the contest as well. But yeah, they haven't actually announced Tonga versus Hong Kong's time yet that I know of. I might actually have another check. One moment. We'll go like this. Tonga versus Hong Kong. Have we got any type of time frame? No. Doesn't seem like they've actually... Wait up. This might tell me. Play each other on July 23rd. Wait, when's July 23rd? What day are we on today? July 23rd. So it will be on the Saturday that they do end up playing each other. Just checking to see whether or not we have actually got any date. It's at 5:30 p.m. That's Australian time, I believe. So that is going to be a 7:30 p.m. kickoff here in New Zealand, I believe. So that's actually not too bad. That will be after the Warriors game if we're lucky. And we will get to see the 2 sides in action. My boy Marcus Smith, USA 19, Chile 14 halftime, says Jeff. So yeah, getting a little bit back into it there, Chile, and my boy Courtney Laws. Cheers, Nathan. And also, hey, hold an alt. Then when you're holding alt, press F4, says Run now. I'd rather not have it completely shut down. And also, can you imagine the beach volleyball event in Birmingham? The ladies will have to avoid male spectators chucking beer towards the booth, says Sebastian. And also, Nathan, they definitely didn't get slats this series. Could have gone either way. Says Ronnie there as well. Now, I guess the question is, do we want some halftime guitar entertainment? Or as I like to call it, just guitar. You know, sometimes it goes all right. Sometimes it doesn't go that well. I can't really show some of the big hits that we've seen around the world currently for rugby league and rugby union. Also, now, mate, Wallabies got slapped by Owen Farrell. And there as well. The Curry Cup, they are actually showing a clip from the Curry Cup. And the big question is whether or not we are going to get to see the Curry Cup and also the URC sides get their way forward a little bit more in a new competition. And come on, the Scottish says Trevor. And also, how's it going? And there, as I said, Ryan now doing very well. Of course, and also Farrell family making history in Southern Hemisphere. And All Blacks, Mr. Ma'anonu and Smith combos, Kristen Cullen fullback, Speeder, Michael Jones, and McCoy, etc., etc. Says Neil, yeah, we opened up some cards earlier on. We got Ian Jones as one of our stat attack cards. Then we got Nepal Lalala. Then we got Scott Barrett. And then we got Scott Barrett because we needed 2 Scott Barretts. Can't even remember who won the Curry Cup. Pumas, was it? Yeah, it was Pumas with the Requas in the final as well. So actually, I guess 2 sides that people weren't really expecting to see in the final. Jeez, that's a big shot. I think that was on Isaac Targo. Just got smashed over backwards in the NRL. They're actually showing all of the highlights of big shots. Whew. That was a big shot by that lady. She just well and truly bent a woman inside out. And also, he's young 2023. He'll fire up, says Nathan there as well. But it was a good shot in the midsection. All Moana Pacifica versus Blues is one of the highlights that they've got for big shots. You know, that was a good one. And also, yes, please get to halftime break, says Bianca. I thought no one would ask, but I guess the request is my command. No, your request is my demand. No, your request is my command, I think is the saying. And who's better than 1 Geordie Barrett? 2 Jordan, actually. No, 1 Will Jordan. Yeah, he's very good at the moment, Will Jordan. What song do we know? What's one we haven't played before? We don't have many that we haven't played before. I need to learn some new material. You guys have heard that one already. What else have we got? What's a new one that we haven't done? That didn't sound great, did it? Marcus Smith, number 10. And last Ripper's team to qualify for the Rugby World Cup from 4 teams round robin: Portugal, Kenya, USA or Chile, and Tonga or Hong Kong, and shred some 7-nation army. And yeah, I wish I knew more stuff. I only really know a bit of Bon Jovi. That's slightly out of tune, I think. I don't really know many songs, I'm realizing. Like, we could do chords and whatnot, but I feel like chords are not as effective as picking. Keep doing happy birthday. Happy birthday with the whammy bar sounds kind of cool, though. That wasn't the right string, was it? Halftime's fun, isn't it? Slightly out of tune, says Nuzzy Williams, and also with the Amish. Will not sleep. I think you are a robot when it comes to commentary, says Coding there, and also demands, says Nuzzy Williams. There you go. I need some new content, don't I? Do some alternate picking with the E minor, G, and D chords. And then also says Nuzzy Williams, and when someone drops the cake at your birthday party, and the World in Union, says Neil Garner. Currently, we have still got all of the Smash and Bro shots around New Zealand and also around the world. In fact, I've done about 20 shots in a row. And also, you got this, says Nathan there. Yeah, no, they're just showing all of the big hits that have happened in New Zealand and all around the world, and also nice guitar sound. Says Ato, and also really got this is Nathan in there as well. And hello, my husband is Lawrence. This is my husband. He is Scotland. I'm South Africa. Can both teams win? Says Megan, there's a decent chance that you should do well with your picking. Says Bianca, thank you very much. There is still it's not too bad. I feel like if I had a second string that was in tune, it might help me out because I do a lot on the second string, but it sounds probably the worst out of all of them. But I want to actually, that's the thing, I'd love to be able to pick the national anthems for the rugby when they come up, like New Zealand's national anthem, South Africa's national anthem, Australia. I'd love to be able to do some sort of picking to each of the national anthems because some people say, have it so that we can hear the national anthems, but I can't show it due to copyright on the screen. So I'd love to be able to find some way of doing it without playing it, if that makes sense. Oh, they're just showing that shot from Fa'amasili. That was a little while ago that it did take place up against Ngātaua Koi. But the second half between these two sides will be getting underway in only a little bit of time. Probably about, I'd say 3 to 5 minutes. Hopefully not too long. But I will show you guys the benches that we have got coming up in this matchup. There we go. That is who it's going to be in the reserves for these two sides. You've got Ruiz, also Titas Chaparro, Gomez Codella, Marcos Crema. He's going to be a dangerous man when he comes off the bench. Gonzalez, Burrano, also Albornoz, and Lucio Cinti. There at number 23, of course, playing a little bit of the sevens, I believe, recently, Cinti for Argentina. Then Dave Sherry off the bench for Scotland. Pierre Schurman, also Sebastian Young, Christie, George Horn, also Thompson there, and then Sam Johnson as the last man off the bench for the Scottish. We have got the All Blacks used to be the best team in the world. What happens, says Max, they're hitting a rough patch. I guess is the best way of describing it. It hasn't quite been going their way, that is for sure. We will have to wait and see whether or not that does improve. And in the near future for them as well. But currently, I'm looking at all of the competitions that are starting up soon. You got Premier League in 13 days, the Bundesliga and Ligue 1 also starting up in about that 13 days. Bunnings NPC in 19, Rugby Championship in 20. Then a little bit further down the line, you've got the sevens and whatnot taking place in 40 days. The Women's World Cup, I think, is about 82 days away, so only 3 months. International League is 90 days away for the Rugby League World Cup. The football is coming up relatively soon as well. It is in 126 days. State of Origins all over, but the T20 Men's World Cup is coming around the Kano Opungo on the guitar sounds nice, says now, and did Chile. It's got another penalty goal, says Sebastian. So currently, the way that game sits, it is 19-14 in favor of the USA. So they're very close at the moment between them. And the aggregate is 41-35, which means a converted try for Chile would actually end up with them in the lead and taking that spot from USA if that was how the match ended. The next game, my team Springboks is going to play your team All Blacks. You're going to win. What do you say, says Megan? I can see it happening. The Springboks, you have to say, are certainly in a better vein of form than the All Blacks are. And I think we actually play the Springboks twice in South Africa. So that is going to be absolutely massive for the South Africans in that game. But now these two sides making their way back out onto the park. 40 minutes left of the rugby gauntlet that we have done today. 6 live streams in a row. And now is just about to come to a close. Just 40 minutes. And after Nepo signed my flag, I lost my lid to my felt tip. And I bought it on the day, only $4, says Max. And also a welly throwing contest in Somerset next week. And there says Neil, is that right? I mean, that would be an interesting one to watch. But they did concede a penalty, Sebastian. But Chile missed the penalty kick, I do see, has just come through. So I believe more than likely the USA will have 15 men back out on the field now. Scotland will be kicking off this one for the second half. Just having a bit of a conversation there with Ben O'Keefe. I believe that was Blair Kinghorn. He's had a very accurate first half when it comes to his kicking game. Just seen, I believe, the one kick missed, and that was by Emiliano Borfelli in about the 15th minute of the contest. Ben O'Keefe just asked me if I'm all good. I am indeed, mate. We're now underway with 1 point difference between these two sides. This could easily go either way, and we'll have to wait and see exactly who makes the most of the second half. But it's kicked off high from Blair Kinghorn deep into the opposition 22. Nicely taken there by, it was Matthias Orlando. In fact, sorry, Matthias Maroni. They've got Matthias Maroni and Matthias Orlando in the midfield. And one of the copyright laws regarding what you can play on this platform, says Bianca, it seems to be that I can play a majority of things because I'm not getting the right notes. So I think they kind of say it's fine. That's going to be a little scrum going the way of Scotland now. And where's your friend today, says Megan. So he will actually be going to work. In fact, he might already be at work at this current point in time. He was here for England versus Australia. But he is, he's got work today on a Sunday, which is pretty rough for him. And it's nice to see footballing nations rising in the world of rugby. Romania, Spain, Portugal, Chile, Uruguay. See, Sebastian, exactly right. And it just adds that little bit of extra competition around the world. Bought a scarf for $45, a medium flag for $20, and $20 for tea. Not too shabby if you ask me. See, here's a max there as well. It is going to be the scrum feed in favour of Scotland. And while Scotland says believe that, 1 point difference between these two sides. It's going to be a thrilling last-minute contest, though. I think someone's scoring points near the end of this game. It's my prediction, but it's that question of who it's going to be. We're having another scrum reset. And the Mexican wave does go around the ground. Quite the attendance for this game, I will mention as well. Okay, Xander Fageson is actually the only player for Scotland in their front row who has actually stayed out there. So a lot of changes being made for both of these sides. In fact, I think they're lying. I think Xander Fageson, they're saying from the last match, the only man to carry over, because they're all different men. They want you work hard and you should be sponsored by a coffee company, says believe that there. Now, nice pass off. Duan Fundermerva attacking the line, 15 out. He has already scored 1 try today. Can he make it a second? Perhaps later on, Rory Darge has to try and run sideways. He's tackled hard by Facundo Isa. It's taken a man slightly off the ball. He was asking for the penalty, and that is the last thing the referee will end up giving a penalty for, is if you're just completely asking him for it. It's now going to be the advantage for the high tackle, though. Rory Dash trying to break his way through. It's a good attack and run. The Argentine number 9 decided to let go. It's become a rolling maul. They've done brilliantly to keep that ball alive. Now Price goes back to Kinghorn. Off down the wing. Ashman scores. Oh, he's almost been led with the knees. Is that a push in the back of the head as well in the process? Come on, Boomers. Let's see that Argentine flair. And also, Sebastian, it's nice to see Romania, Spain, Portugal, and also Uruguay and Chile. And they're playing solo rugby in 2022. Ireland fans must have spent like 10K plus while they were on in New Zealand or on tour. Here's Max, but Ashman, he's done well going in. Kinghorn gives it off. Ashman down the wing. He looked like he had the pace, but he did get cleaned up in the end by the number 9, which is why he got the push in the back of the head. We're giving him a bit of a cheap shot on the ground. And crucial try it is, or is this, says Sebastian. It is indeed. And Scotland, you can see how fired up their coaches are after being able to get that early try. It's a tough kick from the touchline for Blair Kinghorn, but like I mentioned, he's been kicking well today. 6 points difference. Oh, USA have just got themselves another try in their game up against Chile. So sitting 24 points to 14 with the aggregate. Currently 11 points difference between the two sides. Oh, okay. So it's the first time since 2015 that they haven't had the fellas who are normally in the front row. That is actually huge and crucial kick. Says Ronnie, it certainly is. Brody got effed up last night. It should have been red. What do you think? Says Max there. Yeah, it was an interesting one because the rules seem to be differentiating each week, which makes it a bit tricky. And nice Scotland. The bet's alive and well. That one's gone straight over. And now that will make the score 21 points to 13. King Blairhorn says half a quarter, and because they're footballing nations, although through and through still nil. And also why I have no Maradona or Messi version of rugby in Argentina. Said Neil, and nice Scotland. The bet's alive and well. It was a great backline. Ashman just used that size and strength and never looked like he wasn't going to be able to go over the try line in the one-on-one defending. Now kicked off from Santiago Carreras. That is the first 5 minutes of the second half already gone. And Scotland have started it brilliantly for the second half. Pablo Matera trying to get the turnover in the breakdown. He was told he wasn't allowed to go for it, but now it is actually stolen by Argentina. Facundo Eza tries to find the offload, and it's going to be a big shot in the spine of Thomas Lavanini. Quick hands off to Juan Cruz Malia, who tries to jump his way through a couple of the defenders. He's been dragged down nicely. 30 metres out. The young halfback now pop pass on the inside to Augustine Crevi. Penalty to Scotland. They have been brilliant in the breakdown, and they are quick when it comes to getting in the right place, right time. And there was a Maradona. His name was Augustin Pichot, or Pichot. Hopefully I said that correctly, which I feel like I haven't, unfortunately. Like they say, Darge and Watson, they get many turnovers for the Scottish. And I feel like that is something in the Six Nations to look forward to see how Scotland match up some of these other sides, such as Ireland, such as France, Wales, England, all those sides, and Italy. Don't forget Italy, of course. Currently 3 tries for Scotland throughout this game compared to the 1 of Argentina. So if Argentina score the next try, they will get a little bit closer. But currently 8 points leading for the US, although that's actually only now 6 points leading for the aggregate because Chile have scored again. That game's a back and forth seesaw, and there's still 30 minutes left in it, so we will keep you updated on what is happening in that match alongside this one. Now short side, Ali Price. Good tackle made on Sione Tuipilotu. I thought he was Chilean. And then technically speaking, as long as you pick the strings while the anthems are playing, you can broadcast that too because you're not infringing anything, technically speaking, that is. Says Bianca, and how can we forget Italy? They beat Wales. That is very true. And Wales beat South Africa. So theoretically, Italy are better than South Africa. Just kidding. Please don't get angry at me. Now I'll pass it back across. Nice run from Cummings. Out the middle, Ali Price. Now passes off across to Kinghorn, almost able to pierce the gap. Now Ali Price sells the dummy, offload up. Once again, giving it off to Rory Sutherland. On the side, Hamish Watson gets a little bit closer to the line. Now Johnny Gray, this is very close at the moment. Now Hamish Watson once again receives it back. He has just landed hard on his face. But he will be keeping strong, close to the line there. Almost Xander Ferguson going over. Who wants it? Duan van der Merwe does. And he's got another one. Scotland starting to run away with it in the second half. Now it's a double for Duan van der Merwe. We lost 20 viewers of their comment. You did see Sebastian in there as well. And not again, says Gareth. And try, says Cameron. And there as well. And also, let's go Scotland, says Cameron. Duan van der Merwe has just gone over the try line. And to Ferguson, he got close. Duan van der Merwe decided to play as the halfback, and you can tell when a wing is in form when he's just searching for the ball. Wales beat South Africa. Italy beat Wales. Georgia beat Italy. Therefore, Georgia are world champions, says Ronnie O'Sullivan. There you go. We don't make the rules. We just enforce them. Eh? We're going to get in trouble, aren't we? The commentators just said Scotland are doing the skills very well that don't take a lot of skills, such as clearing the rucks. Clearing the rucks are not easy. Just look at the All Blacks up against Ireland. They couldn't clear a ruck to save themselves. And also the Scots have had enough. Time to close out the series and get in there, says Gareth. Well, that one, yeah, brilliantly done. And now 28 points to 13, so a nice lead starting to form for the Scottish. And Duan van der Merwe is 12th try and 19 caps. So he's certainly been putting it together for the Scottish. But yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back next weekend with plenty more rugby and also rugby league. So if you are new, be sure to check out not just this channel, but also the Kiwi Lad Sport, which is where we cover our rugby league, and also who are you so wise in the way of science, says Gareth there. You know, oh, another penalty. Jeez. It's been a lot of them throughout this match. Ben O'Keefe has got the whistle to his mouth pretty quickly on many occasions, but it's an obstruction. And now Argentina, they're 15 points behind here. I don't want to see them go for the 3 points because, yes, it's an easy 3, but it would be too negative, in my opinion. They need to go for the corner. And Kiwi Lad Sport, yeah, that is the one. So, yeah, if you do enjoy rugby league, we'll be covering a little bit more of it on that channel alongside the FIFA World Cup, Rugby League World Cup, a little bit of some sort of Commonwealth Games over there. And then the sevens will be on the main channel alongside maybe the cricket, or the cricket might actually end up being covered on the second channel, just because the last thing we want is a copyright strike for the cricket, because then the Rugby Championship, yeah. So I think that will be the go. Marcos Crema now out on the field for Argentina. Also, Lucio Cinti coming onto the field, and that is replacing Bautista Delgui, who did have a decent run earlier on in this contest. But Augustin Crevi now at the back. The rolling maul starting to set up nicely for Argentina. And do you think in the World Rugby schedule, there should still be a place for the British and Irish Lions? I think they'll be able to squeeze it in, because at the end of the day, it's still a massive prestige being able to have that British and Irish Lions toy every 4 years. Over he goes. Or did he? Yep, they've said it's down. And I think that is going to be the replacement prop who has just got himself the try. He's literally only just got out there. Nahul Titas Chaparro has just got, and also I got you sounding off one screen, and Bone Thugs rapping in another mean mix, says Nuzzy Williams. Here we go, eh? Another try for Nahul Titas Chaparro. Like they're saying, he's only had 5 in his career, but it seems like there's a late comeback maybe starting to open up for Argentina. We've still got 30 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen, in this contest. Anything could happen. Speaking of 30 minutes left, there's still about that left in USA versus Chile, and currently only 5 points difference between the two sides. The USA, they would like to back themselves to be able to get themselves the home win in Denver, but it's going to be tricky for them, that is for sure. Emiliano Boffelli, he's just got 8 points today. This game is opening up. Scotland's got this, says Cameron there. And so who's more gangster, Bone or Bone Thugs, and Harmony or Hamish, says Sebastian. I mean, I can help prove that I am. You know, I'm very gangster. Point proven. Stadium is completely quiet. That kick has gone over. Very nicely done. And now Argentina, they'll move up to 20 points to 28. And both things you say sounds like a nice group of chaps, says Gareth. There, but nice work in the end to reach out for that one. Nahor Titas Chaparro does end up picking up the try. Like they're saying, the body mass of that man is quite a lot. And he has been able to use his power and precision to get himself over the try line. Now Blair Kinghorn kicking off this one for Scotland once again. Hamish more thug, no doubt. And would have been even better if I could actually see that. It was the only head I had, the purple ones back there. And down with the boys in the hood, says Neil. And Hamish just broke the internet, says Gareth. And Cheap John Cena. And also, we hope we can still win this. But Argentina has proven a good side, says Jamie Cox. Yeah, they are always up for the challenge, although now only 22 metres out, it is going to be Scotland once again with another opportunity at line-out time from the 22. And also, Group A is France, New Zealand, Italy, Uruguay, and Namibia. Group B, Ireland, Zambia, I think that is, Romania, and Tonga. And someone's missing from that one, but I think that's Scotland, I want to say. That hasn't quite popped up. So actually, sorry, South Africa is that second one. Group C, Australia. I think that's Wales, Fiji, Georgia. And then we have got Group D, Great Britain, Argentina, Japan, Samoa, and the US or Chile, says Nathan there. So, yeah, there's quite a few big ones. And Doctor of Rugbynomics and Word Life, says Cameron. That rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Doctor of Rugbynomics. Kind of. Although Rugbynomics would be a hard word to spell, I would think. Yeah, see-through hat might not be the best way of doing it, though. I think need to find the other one, don't I? And how are you going to manage to remain neutral in broadcasting of the match between South Africa and New Zealand, says Bianca? I think I'll be completely fine. Have done it last year and the year before, or not the year before, but we did do it last year for both of the games, and they were awesome matchups. And then we also just commentated New Zealand versus Ireland, and we did see New Zealand lose the series on New Zealand soil, so I think I will be fine. It's going to be awesome, though, seeing those two sides go head-to-head. Nice short pass off the Marcos Crema. Has been tackled well on the halfway line currently. Now linking up Augustine Crevi. He's had a very solid game, making a lot of meters for the Argentines. Rory Dash getting in there, breakdown. That's going to be the knock-on there. Oh, angry. Very angry for a couple of the players out there. Do you know anything about Aussie rules? Not a huge amount. I would like to get into it a little bit more in the future. I actually want to play the Aussie rules game on console or PC, but I have never got around to actually getting it, just because I don't think it ever goes on special, sadly. I'm going to have a quick look now. Moment, it is $80 for the AFL game. If it wasn't 80, if it was like 30 or so, I might consider getting it, but for now it is just about, I know I don't like Sebastian. Speaking of things you don't like, Sebastian, the NFL coming back in only 2 weeks' time or so. And I think Ireland have peaked too soon again, says Ronnie O'Sullivan. And then, yeah, it's going to be a big tester for them. See whether or not they can continue that momentum into the Six Nations next year, plus the end-of-year tour. I think Ireland have got some tough matchups that they are going to have coming up. In fact, we're going to work out exactly who they have got in their next matches. We will go here. Geez, New Zealand have got some tough games straight away, playing up against the Springboks. And I enjoy Aussie rules, says Gareth. There's so Ireland for the end-of-year tour. They are going to be playing up against the USA, South Africa, Fiji, and Australia. Geez, that's a good tour they have got. And that is going to be now another advantage. In fact, it's become a penalty to Scotland, and Geelong will sink Kilda, says Neil. Are they playing tomorrow, or is that just... I know that they're two sides that exist in NFL and AFL. Trust help us, says Sebastian. Oh, question, Sebastian. If you had to watch 2 games of NFL and 2 games of AFL, but you got to watch 1 game of women's beach volleyball, is it happening or is it not happening? Because I know you're a fan of your women's beach volleyball, but you're not a fan of the AFL and NFL. Now, Scotland once again will have themselves another line-out opportunity. American Football League Says Nathan there. Now Dave Cherry to throw this one in. We do see him play for Edinburgh throughout the URC. They didn't do the best throughout the last season, but they were close to that top 8. In fact, they might have made it just to the top 8, but then ended up missing out in the end. It's going to be an overthrow, and that's brilliantly taken from Nahul Titas Choparo. Seems like he's well and truly having a decent crack at Rupert. Here's Nathan. It's just what Sebastian's told me. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, there's one sport he wants me to cover at the Commonwealth Games, and it ain't the Sevens. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's going to be sitting up nicely. I ain't got to make a sacrifice for them. Knickers don't choose us, Sebastian. Now, Varnish knock on. And once again, the scrum feed does go the way of Argentina. We have had a lot of scrums and whatnot, and just go to strip club on GTA, says Nathan. There's the thing, back when I used to play GTA Vice City, I used to just drive a bus. That was literally what I would do. I'd just drive a bus. I'd take people from A to B. They'd pay me $5, and I'd do that for hours. And the USA Rugby win the World Cup in 2039, says Neil Gamer and the Cats Mate. And only South Africa spoil the Northern Hemisphere dominance, says Cat TV. And there as well. So, yeah, although this game not quite over yet, Argentina might be able to find themselves back into this contest. Augustine Crevi just taken off, and replacing him, it will be Ruiz. Does make his way out there. Currently, USA versus Chile is sitting 26 points to 21, so actually very similar. This one I have GTA Vice City on PlayStation 2. That is a great game. That is for sure. And Morena Hamish in chat, still going strong, eh? Awesome. Have a blessed Sabbath day, brother. Says Guns back and back at you as well, mate. Hope you are doing well. Hope you have seen all the results from the night. And if you haven't, we will try our best not to spoil them for you so that you can catch up with them a little bit later on. But currently, Scotland, 4 tries being scored in this contest. Argentina, they have scored 2. And I drove a tank into the Malibu nightclub in Vice City. I was young, dumb, and in need of help, says Sebastian. But yeah, I feel like I played GTA way too calmly. You know, I just bus drive. You know, I work in the emergency services, trying to help out the local community. I was going to Argentina because my man's who played for Crusaders, that's a Kiwi, says Nasi Williams, and also just have woken or just got woken up by my cat to feed it. And I'm always in bad sports on GTA, grieve and try hard, and mate caught Monday tie, says Vagabond. And there's, I mean, the best way of doing it, don't get it from farmers because they're like $30 for a tie. And it's ever played rugby? I doubt it. Around hours, the atmosphere in New Zealand after that loss, says Christopher. I mean, I've taken it pretty well. I think there's some people who certainly haven't. But at the end of the day, like, you can't take anything away from how Ireland played for this series. They were brilliant. New Zealand, they were not. And they do have a lot of changes that they will have to try and sort out before they get into their matches up against South Africa, unless they do want to get 30 points easily put on them. That's a drop ball there. Unfortunately for Lucio Cinti, to put it down on Mono on GTA 5, my account has 28 figures, says Nathan. That is quite a few. I remember doing a GTA live stream way back in the day. In fact, Nathan, were you one of those guys who came onto the GTA live stream initially? Seb, you might have actually. Were you I think one of our regulars were on a GTA live stream that we did for the Cayo Perico heist. That came out, and that was the first time we got to see you guys. And then that was actually something that was like the start of you guys sticking around. Was it either of you two, or was it someone else that I'm thinking of? Do let me know. Now, about to go for the scrum feed. Ali Price does feed this ball in for Scotland. 20 minutes left. We are 3/4 of the way through this fixture. Oh, and it's gone down in the front row. Another scrum reset. And also, we have got that found through a Super Rugby Scream. No, not me, bro. Says Nathan. Who was the GTA one? We had someone through a GTA one who stuck around for the rugby. And also, JK is going to be gloating tomorrow. He called New Zealand the underdogs before the surgery rise and foot shut down, says Gareth. And also, we have there. I used to glitch that heist with my mate all the time, says Ronnie there. That's the thing. I was always like, I tried to do a glitch once, believe it or not. But I tried to duplicate my Zentorno, but I sold the wrong one. So my Zentorno now in my game on Xbox 360 is worth about $8,000. And it's just my constant reminder that I messed up the glitch, and now my Zentorno is never going to be worth anything. I think it hurts at the end of the day. Can't take the All Blacks, all the Warriors, etc. to heart, because we got to do our own winning stuff. But aroa to the team, says Nazi Williams. I would have glitched the Cayo Perico heist and unlimited dollars, says Nathan. Okay, time off now. Another sub being made, and it is Facundo Isa now making his way off the field. I believe that will be for Juan Martin Gonzalez, I should say. And yeah, I lost Panther statue and lost interest. This says Roddy, you'll also complete the heist in 5 minutes. I almost just said, but minutes. Says Nathan, I remember the lads, me, George, Daniel, and Isaac all played the Cayo Perico heist. I'm trying to remember if we recorded it. And can you do a top 15 from the Summer International Series, says Walsh, as in like a top 15 team? Overall, that would be tricky. But I think there's a few guys who can certainly get a running for that one. I'll test my brain and see who I can come up with and whether or not I do get a full 15 side out of who's in there for the positions. The New Zealand public too arrogant about rugby. Just a little wake-up call, says Neil there. I mean, some people felt the All Blacks were an unbeatable side, even though they've been beaten. But that's a nice one from Scotland, once again, getting themselves another penalty in there. But overall, I feel like the best way to look at it is, it's another try to Chile. Their game's getting a little bit closer. But yeah, the way to look at it is pretty much like the better team won on the day. The All Blacks, they need certain aspects of their game improved. And it's better to find out that there are problems now than there are problems in like a group stage of a Rugby World Cup. And yes, that doesn't make losing any easier for some people, but at least you're getting to learn what your mistakes are, how to change it. Do you think Southern Hemisphere rugby style is superior to Northern Hemisphere, says Adrian? I think it depends on the competition and where the game's being played, because we've seen the Irish side, they almost play a little bit of a hybrid of both with that structured backline and also those physical forwards. It's absolutely awesome to see. And Cayo Perico stream on the gaming channel, says Sebastian. Did we do it on the gaming channel? Maybe. There you go, Sebastian. You're quick as a bunny rabbit, I was going to say. They quick as a cheetah. Sebastian is. Our well-known team has won a series in 24 years on New Zealand soil. That's how dominant they were, says Cameron. And also do it with 2 from every team. One team gets 1, says Gareth there. So I guess we're going the top, or like just the 8 Southern Hemisphere teams. Or sorry, the South versus North rivalry and Destroy, Try Hard and Depth match are the part 2, says Nathan. Now Scotland, they've got themselves another penalty advantage. There have been many against Argentina, and I think Scotland more than likely, I mean, they could take the easy 3 and get themselves an 11-point lead and quick and horny rabbits. I'll take it. And also, what is the price score between USA and Chile? How much time left, says Lawrence. So currently in the match between Chile and the USA, it is 29 points to USA, 28 points to Chile, and it is 64 minutes down. The aggregate score, which is the one that we are looking at big time for who goes through, that is 2 points in favor of the USA. So literally it's all to play for in that Rugby World Cup qualifying game. Whoever wins that contest, they will be going through to the next stage. But we will keep you updated for the last 15 minutes of that contest, just like the last 15 minutes of this game as well. Eden Park still a Bestian for you, though, says Neil Garner. And because it's Auckland, no brag, says Nazi Williams. And I always get DDoS in online sessions. Clowns can't run and guns. Hold these L's, says Nathan. And Pumas, the only Northern Hemisphere team or Northern Hemisphere to peak on a World Cup. Yeah, won the Grand Slam in the World Cup. The other time they did it, they made it to the final, but had nothing left in the final, says Ronnie. Yeah, that kick has gone over, and now Scotland have got themselves a lead, 31 points to 20 in this contest. And come on, Scotland, says Hanoi. And come on, Southern Hemisphere brothers and Pumas. So yeah, they're going to have to find the fight back relatively soon. With just 15 minutes left, 2 converted tries would get them in the lead. But anything less than the 2 converted tries or 2 tries in general would not be enough. Nicely taken there, close to the touchline, driven backwards, and his foot was in touch. Brilliantly done by Argentina. And now they are going to have themselves a line out only a few meters out from the Scottish line. Very nicely done. That will be about 15 meters out. And Argentina, in the form of the young man, Inacio Ruiz, Going to be thrown in. Please show free, says Craven. Unfortunately, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets us taken straight off YouTube, but I can recommend, I believe it will be on the Scottish website or the Scottish YouTube channel. About an hour or two's time, you will be able to see the highlights of this one. Is that time correct? One moment. What time have they got? They've got 46. Okay, it's not 46. We are 65 minutes through at this stage, so they are well and truly off with their timing. So, Hamish, what did you think of the box game? Who was your personal man of the match? Mine was Quagga Smith. And there as well, says not your everyday cultist. I would say for me, there were a couple good players in that match. That looks like it was almost a turnover for Gonzalo Bertrano. Currently, Argentina only a few minutes out from the line. I'm trying to think of who I thought played. Andre Pollard for me stepped up in that game. That's a nice backline movement. Now stepping back on the inside, Matthias Maroni only 1 meter short of the line now. And now Bertrano puts it down. And I think he's been able to get it there. And also the Eagles versus Chile game as a try fest in it. Says Sebastian, it is indeed. Currently, both of those sides. There's a missed penalty from Chile, which does mean that USA still have themselves a 2-point lead. But Gonzalo Bertrano does end up scoring that try, possibly. Okay, they want to check this one, possibly. And also need modded vehicles on GTA 5, Amish. Hooks you up, my guy. Don't tell Rockstar I'm Robin them and send me a hello. Says Alberto, so shout out to you, mate. Hope you are doing fantastic. Argentina fighting back into this contest now. And Southern Hemisphere teams are good at peaking at the right time. That's why they have won 8 out of the 9 World Cups. And greetings from Argentina, says Alberto. So what time is it currently in Argentina? Alberto, do let me know. It was brilliantly done around the side for Gonzalo Bertrano. Really causing the pressure. But I mentioned that the Argentines would need 2 converted tries. And also what's USA and Chile scoring time, says Oscar. So they are currently sitting 70 minutes through that contest. USA sitting on 29, Chile sitting on 28, but the points differential has it slightly more in favor of USA. So they have got a 2-point aggregate currently ahead. And come on, Argentina. Says not your everyday cultist, and Argentina just scored, says Christopher. They certainly did. And I assume once this kick goes over or misses, they will end up updating that scoreboard down in the corner. Taking his time. With this kick, still 12 minutes left on the clock as well. I should mention he struck it all right. It's curling. It's gone over. And now 27 points to 31. Us Severs are standing with Argentina. And you're a legend too. Says it was there from David. And also, morning, Hamish. You're a legend, mate. He says, David, I appreciate you, mate, and hope you are doing very well. Hope you slept well. About a night, 4 hours less. Says Alberto there, and come on the Pumas. And cheers, David, brother. Morning to you. And also, is that full-time USA versus Chile? Not quite. They have still got another about 9 minutes left in that and not full-time for Chile, says Blockchain. And come on, the Pumas, says Ronnie. And Duan is world-class, in my opinion. Do you think had he not been Scotland capped, he would have made the South African squad? I think he'd be a handy aspect to have for them, depending on what side they go with, though, for him, because you've got Makazole, Mapimpi, Chesil, and Colby, but that extra bit of size that Duan Fundermerva has might not have been a terrible option in 12 minutes. Says Blockchain. How long is left? And we need a 2 out of 4 for Southern Hemisphere today. It's another penalty to Scotland. So I believe they will end up taking on the 3 points, and that will give them a 7-point lead. And thank you, Hamish. Says Nathan, no worries. But I am keeping a close eye on that game. See who does end up getting themselves to win. Scotland kicking for the corner here, and come on the Pumas, says Alberto. So this is aggressive from the Scottish. They've decided that rather than going for the 3 to give them a 7-point lead, they'd rather get a try now, try and close out this game. Vamos Argentina, says Nathan, and Duan wouldn't have made the South African squad. We have far too many wings here to compete with. Says not your everyday cultists. And definitely with those young guys coming through now, the likes of Apalele Fassi is in there. I know you've got a couple other guys who are right on the verge of making their way through. Nice set play here from Scotland. This could be the chance. Johnny Gray's going to be on his back, and it is held up. And it is now going to be the goal line dropout. So a little bit of a reprieve for Argentina there, as Scotland got relatively close. But anyone who is new to the channel, I should mention, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back next year with plenty more. And here's the ball currently for the Chile game. Says Blockchain. I can't actually see who's got the ball. I can only see the clock and also the score. Unfortunately, I don't actually have the game. I guess that I can see. And what a game, says Chile. Says Ollie there. And Vamos Chile, says Nathan there. And Scotland are improving. Or have Argentina been poor this series? What do you think, Hamish? Says Porter. or it's a tricky one, I would say, because Scotland have been doing very nicely throughout the series because they're missing Stuart Hogg and Finn Russell, which were two players that a lot of people thought that they were going to really struggle without. But I would have to say Argentina, they haven't really been poor this series. It's just more of the case of Scotland have been just a little bit better than them, but they haven't had like a bad series either, if that makes sense. And we're back in our South American bros. He's not your everyday cultures and great stream and nice comments. Just tuned back. And what a scoreline says, chalk up some purchase. Yeah, it's a close game at the moment between these two sides, that is for sure. And I actually called it before the weekend, or I think it was actually the very first game. I said that the game that probably has the least hype around it, but it should have the most, is Argentina versus Scotland, because it's going to be an absolutely insane one going down to the wire. What happened to Hogg and Russell? I think they've just been left out and missing Hastings, says Gareth. There's on, okay, says blockchain, but yeah, currently still 2-point advantage for USA for the aggregate side of things. Right. Looks like they are going to be kicking this one for the corner here and given a rest by Gregor Townsend. It's the old days when England used to beat Scotland every year. Now the Scottish bully us on the field, says Ronnie. And as a Scot, I'm used to a snatch and defeat from the jaws of victory. 27-31 is too close for my kilt to handle, says Vajabond. And that condor on the Chilean badge looks like it's going through a rough patch, doesn't he? He does a bit, yeah. He looks like he's kind of maybe like smacked into a power pole. And then he's got zapped. And then he's like, oh, that hurt a bit. And I'm South African, and I obviously support the Springboks, but Los Pumas will forever be my second team. Says, not your everyday cultures, the All Blacks was game. And there says Hermione. Now throw coming in for Ruiz. And enjoying the game, says Alberto. Yeah, it's been an awesome one to see. About to throw it in. Geez, taken plenty of time, but now it's gone into the front to Guido Petty, breaking off the back straight away now. Matthias Maroni tries to go underneath. Some work out for them now. Gondrona getting close now. Argentina, it's popped out the back. Berrano once again gives it off to the hands of Gomez. Cordella, they are getting close at the moment. Also, nothing wrong with Hogg and Russell. Just Townsend mixing it up. Both look jaded at the end of the last season. Too much rugby, in my opinion. Says C. Kayak. Argentina, if they score a try now, they will take the lead. And in this contest, now it's a penalty to Scotland. And once again, it was Pablo Matera going off his feet. Unfortunately, South America's rugby has improved. They're hungry. And the All Blacks game was crazy. Even your viewership was really high. Says Hermie, and it certainly was. It went absolutely insane for that contest. And also, come on, score a try. Says not your everyday cultures. And any second-tier team is my second team. The second-tier team is playing a first-tier team. I'm always going to root for the underdog, unless they're playing my team, says Ronnie. And yeah, Hogg was not great in the Six Nations, and Argentina like the big brother of America. Well, likes the big brother of America. And I come on, Matera says not your everyday cultures. He doesn't make many mistakes, but that time he did end up getting it slightly wrong. Okay, they want some water by the looks of it. But it's massive here for Argentina. They want to try and get in and lost your feet, didn't you, Pablo? Says Sebastian. Yeah, he did end up slipping a little bit down there. But currently, I believe between USA and Chile, there will only be about 2 or 3 minutes left in that contest, if not maybe 5 minutes max. Okay, I think they're having a bit of an issue with the communication between the TMO and Ben O'Keefe currently. And Hamish Watson just tells everyone to slow down in 8 more minutes. Says, not your everyday cultist. It is indeed for this one. And also, who do you want to win? Says Strip. I mean, it's a tricky one. Both of these sides, you'd have to argue, deserve to win it. And we'll keep model this like the Blues Brumbies game, says Frank Smith. And I want Chile to qualify, says Blockchain. And they have actually just taken the lead. They just got themselves a penalty in the 75th minute. So now Chile are sitting on 31. The USA are sitting on 29. So they have just taken the lead. Chile are ahead, bloody hell. Says Sebastian. And yeah, 1 point difference in the aggregate. This is giving me Champions Cup flashbacks. A couple of those sides only just missing out. And Scotland regressed in the last Six Nations and were outplayed in the first test. They regrouped last week and completely eclipsed Argentina in the second half. We're going well on this, G, says you. And also, hi, Nathan, says David the Mod. And also, come on, Chile and Argentina. And come on, Scotland, says Fade Toxic. It's a good kick downfield from Blair Kinghorn. He's got a bloody lip at the moment. Looks like he's been put through a few of those battles out there in the breakdown. Okay, Hamish Watson actually going to field. Are the fast wingers, sevens wingers playing for the US, says Frank. I'll just have a quick look at their lineup. So they have got Osefo's playing, which I believe he is actually one of the guys from the sevens. Other than that, though, I don't believe in their starting lineup anyway. Or they got Brack at number 15, but I can't remember whether or not he was in the sevens. And then also, yeah, no, not too many of them. But looks like it's actually stolen by Argentina there. You think Romania can win tomorrow against Uruguay? I think they'll have a decent crack. And then can we get a poll to see who supports who, Chile or USA? Says not your everyday cult doesn't come on Argentina, not Argentina, because there's a adopted Kiwi in the squad. And Hamish wants rugby to win, says David the Mod. No EA rugby game. He says Sebastian there as well. And also Gareth Jez Buddy. And then also South African flags from Not Your Everyday Culture. So currently very close between the USA and Chile. With only 2 minutes left in that contest. Currently Chile would be making it through to the Rugby World Cup with just the 1 point advantage. In this game, 5 minutes left. Argentina down by 4 with not much time left at all. It's going to be kicked downfield, and it's actually going back to where it was kicked from for Scotland hanging in the Hamish Hydrate. Solid work over the past 3 weeks of international test matches. Thanks to the Kiwi Lads commentary, says Nathan. Yeah, it has been a lot of fun. Yes, we've probably talked more than I have ever talked throughout seasons or throughout weeks of rugby, but it's been very entertaining. And the Rugby Championship only a few weeks away. Sorry, we've also got the Commonwealth Games, the NRL. We are going to be covering some of it, losing by a point in aggregate. Quins match, says Sebastian. Yeah, that was the one that I was talking about when I said flashbacks to the Champions Cup, but I didn't want to reference the Quins per se, just because I thought it might bring up a bit of, I guess, trauma. That one, is it over? Says Crawley, not quite in their game and not quite in this game either. And nice. And yeah, Hamish, you really put in the work and the hours, and we really appreciate it. Says not your everyday cultist. And yeah, we would certainly be doing it again next week if there were international games of rugby. Nice run forward. Now passing it back. Ross Berrano has been put down by Pablo Matera, who does complain to the referee for something. I don't know what he's complaining other than maybe saying my hands were wet, ref. So please give me another crack. 4 minutes left. And Blair Kinghorn once again does kick this one downfield. That will be advantage over. And now Argentina have got this one on the halfway line. Got a tackle run from Santiago Carreras. He can recreate magic if he gets it right. Now backline starting to open up for Argentina around the middle. Grandona does have a nice carry. A penalty would not be enough for the Argentines, but if they get a try now, they will be able to go on to win this contest. They need to make sure that their discipline is good, though. Emiliano Boffelli, ball on the outside. And it's going to be in the hands of Juan Matan Gonzalez. Bertrano, sling and pass, back to Carreras. Bit of pressure there on Gomez Cotella. They are getting close. Come on, Scotland. Says Connor Crawley there. How long left? Only 2 minutes now. Sinti's done brilliantly to hang on to that ball. Now short side. Off into the hands of Argentina. One last crack. 5 meters out from the line. It was in the end. Kinghorn trying to get over the top of the Gomez. Cotella has another crack. Only 3 minutes left in this game, and Argentina are right on the try line. 5 meters out now. Where on the field is this? Is 5 out. And Argentina looking to keep on attacking. Marcos Crema with a good carry. Looks like they're going to use the big forwards and slowly creep their way towards the try line here for Argentina. Like they're saying, they were 15 points down and they are trying to fire their way back in. It's going to be the advantage now to Argentina. They've got the penalty advantage as well. There are a lot of players just lying on the ground. Pablo Matera's head was almost getting stood on there. But now Berrano gives it off to Pablo Matera. He's on his back now. And it's close to the turnover. They are going back for the penalty. And let's go, come on. And defence, says Frank down. Yeah, fair play to Scotland. Argentina are always hard to beat, especially at home. So hopefully they can stay in front. Says Porter. Oh. Okay, Pablo Matera has stayed down a little bit longer. And, of course, Marcos Crema getting right in the face. I think Pablo might have taken a shot to the mush. I think so. They might actually go upstairs and have a look at this. And let's go Argentina and get the ball Scotland, says Connor. Right, so Pablo Matera, he went down just short of the line. And then he was down on the ground. What happens here? Okay, the penalty 5 meters out. And come on, Scotland defence. And that's going to definitely says not your everyday cactus. And also old Pablo's head. Then they got stood on. Says Nazi Williams and Vamos, Argentina, vamos. And there's, I'd imagine, New Zealand sitting at 50% for the last 10 test matches, says Gareth. And if he gets stood on, Says Orby, the Argentine crowd. They are well and truly getting behind their side. The full-time score, Chile have made it into the Rugby World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. USA, they'll have one last qualification to go, and that is the repechage. And actually, it's not funny, sorry, I laugh at that. And also friendly fire on Pablo. There's Frank Smith and Chile, game over it is. And Chile have qualified for the Rugby World Cup. Imagine Ian Foster sleeping tonight. And also Argentina, they have decided to go for the scrum here. I'm so happy for Chile, and come on, Scotland. So here's Frank Smith. This is extremely close between these two sides. Only 2 minutes left in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. It comes down to the last couple minutes. See who takes it out. South America win today. Says not your everyday cultures. Come on, Argies. Says David the Mod to make it 2-2 for North versus South. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Neither of these sides have lost a scrum in this contest so far. We've had 7 scrums, all of them retained. Score this try now. Says not your everyday cultures, and also let's go Scots. Big push, and imagine AB's fans. Ian Foster, it's going to be going down in the front row. And now we are going to have a scrum reset. Let's go Argentina from South Africa. Is the scrum the right call? Says Guy Porter. It's a risky one, but Argentina have decided to back themselves. I would have thought that Scotland scrum with the front row of Xander Fagerson might be a little bit stronger. Will the New Zealand breakdown show be cancelled this week? Says Frank. Probably not. I think they'll end up talking about all the problems when New Zealand rugby more than likely will back Argentina. Says not your everyday cultures. Never thought I would see it in my life. Says Gareth to Nathan, and keep the ball and cross the line. Says not your everyday cultures, but now 30 seconds left on the clock. It looks like a very nervous coaching staff for Ireland, or not for Ireland, sorry, for Scotland, and also for the Argentinians. Last play of the day. Unless there's a penalty, it could be all over Bargy, or Bargy over the line, Argy. And there's some get South Africa one, please, lol. Says David the Mod. There as well. It's been pushed in. Looks like Pablo Matera will want it off the back. It's an advantage now to Argentina, so they can throw absolutely everything at this. Only 3 meters out from the line. Can Argentina beat Scotland? In Argentina, the wide cutout pass. Emiliano Boffelli scores. And Argentina take it at the final moment of the game. 32 points to 31. And that is going to be monumental for Los Pumas. They don't even need to take this kick. They have managed to get themselves a 1-point victory, maybe 3 if they do get the kick. And also, Dodgy So says Bob Log, and regardless of the result, just got to quickly say, I love your passion, and this is a criminally underrated channel. Keep up the great work. There's Guy Porter's footstep. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. And now Argentina take it. And I have to say, the thing is, I did say beforehand, before the weekend even started, this game I felt was going to be the game of the weekend. And I have to say, the way that it's finished, you'd have to say that it takes the cake for that. And awesome for Latin American teams today, Vamos. And she could be happy, says Frank Smith, and it's Reality Bro 2011 ABs. Never thought they'd take it with fly-half issue, says Nathan. A typical Scottish loss, useless as usual. And also we have got there, I must be a criminal watching this, says Bob Log. And Vamos Las Pumas, says Nacho there, and try. And there's now Emiliano Boffelli. It doesn't matter if this kick misses. Either way, the Scottish, they have missed out by at least the 1 point here. Trying to line up the kick. I don't know how he's going to be able to kick this one with so much adrenaline probably going through that man's veins. He's struck it all right. It's gone over as well, so it will be an end score of this contest. 34 points to 31. As no until the ref blows the whistle. And let's go Argentina, get some rest damage. Awesome commentary, brother. You too, Sebastian Gurama. And also Gareth there. And the South have redeemed themselves. So, yeah, it does end 2-2 in the North versus South series. Emiliano Boffelli goes over to his Edinburgh teammates and says, tell you what, just managed to sneak that one. And now they have to go back to training for the URC. And this guy Transformer, he's switching up, says Nathan. And also Dan, the South have 2 back. And now you think that the Northerners are upset with the result, but they are not because Scotland lost. Says Sebastian. And Scottish Fools should have taken the penalty kick, says Frank Smith. Yeah, it was a risky tactic going for the corner. Only a few meters out today. Rugby was bonkers. You have 534 people watching you well, says Hermione. And yeah, it was absolutely incredible today. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is hugely appreciated. You guys will be in here. Great rugby from all 8 teams. Says Orby, exactly right. And thanks, same as champion, mate. Says Nazi there. New Zealand let the South down. Australia, we don't really care about that a lot. And good one, Argentina, says Michael. And yeah, they will certainly be happy with being able to get themselves just over line. Scotty looking good though. Says Bob Log, exactly right. Scotland, I don't think they can be too disappointed overall with the series. They played well throughout. It's just missing out on that last result. No, I don't blame them. They're on the boards to go for the corner. That's to be commended. Says Sebastian, and also Scotland get battered everywhere they go. And also, you are one lucky reporter. Cheers. Or you are our lucky reporters. Cheers. Says Alberto. And cheers, Box and Pumas. Made up for us Aussies and Kiwi losses, says Chalk Up Some Purchase. And bravo, Pumas, says Abel there as well. And Sebastian, I cheer for the underdog. I have nothing against Scotland, says Ronnie O'Sullivan as well. And also Pumas in the chat. And Chile and USA score Hamish, says Nathan. So Chile winning that game 31 points to 29. So they made their way through by 1 point in the Rugby World Cup. So now USA have to go to the repechage. Will be a little bit of a longer task for them to get through. And it's certainly still going to be an exciting one in the future. And thanks for the commentary, says Christopher. No worries at all. And typical Scotland, says Gordon, yeah, losing that game in the final moment up against this Los Pumas side. And you could see the emotion as soon as he went over the try line. The crowd absolutely lost it. And Argentina might have a broken cheekbone. And that's not something that Ronnie would say, says Sebastian there. And also, we're going to the Los Pumas, says Bob Dog. And first time here, nice commentary, says Burton. So I do appreciate you being here. And now, I guess that is going to be the final few moments of this rugby live stream. We have finished our 6th live stream of the day, so USA can still progress. They can, but they will have to go through to the repechage, and Scotland blew their chance again. Penalty opportunity presented itself in a tight game like this. You have to take the points, not go for the glory, basic stuff, says Hugh. And also, Foster could get sacked, says Max. And Scotland were foolish in their decision to go for touch instead of the penalty. And Vamos Argentina and Chile, says Nathan. And Ireland 2-1, England 2-1, Box 2-1, and 2-1. The haggis eating tosses cost me hundreds of quid. Says Andy, and thank you for doing this. You're entertaining and funny, says Bianca. Thank you very much. You do appreciate it. And man in Scotland right now, says Nathan. And also USA won't get past Portugal, and the repechage is over for the Americas, says Sebastian. And I've never supported Argentina, but this game was different, says Bernard. And Scotland the Brave, says Ari there as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I am probably going to head to sleep, seeing as we have just finished our 20 or so hours of rugby commentary. So I appreciate you all for being here. If you are new, like I mentioned, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see